Happy 4th of July. Woo!
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Okay. It sounded a little sarcastic on my end. I'm actually, as you can tell, I'm a bit excited about it. I don't know, just a little bit.
Where do you get that wonderful music for your intro? It's just
amazing. I don't know. Some nice dude, kind of mischievous, but he's a nice guy. And he made me this wonderful intro, and I'm very grateful and very thankful for it.
That's cool.
Well, I guess. Well, let me see. Happy 4th of July and Independence Day to all my fellow Americans, and happy Treason Day to my UK people, because according to my YouTube analytics, those are the only two groups I have, even though I know for a fact that I have at least one Canadian chilling in my chat. So
treasonous dogs.
I know. Oh my god. Yeah, well, at least, according to Purple, apparently they opened up the bars today for England. So
nice.
Drinks. I guess all the liquor stores get to reap all the benefits of the 4th of July here, because that was considered very what is it? What did they call it? It was kind of funny. It was a essential business.
Pubs, yes, essential businesses.
Yes. Have to have your alcohol to get through all of this. And even more so, just to feel patriotic, because there is nothing more American than eating, drinking, and blowing shit up.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I see Starry Eyed Girls in there. Happy Independence Day, Treason Day.
Girl. I hope you're doing better. Oh, yay! I saw that meme one time, and I just never. I thought it was the funniest thing, because it's like some British person, I think on Twitter, was like, "Happy Treason Day, all you traitors." Like, oh.
The traitors from the colonies.
Yeah, well, y'all hadn't been so rude. Oh no, chill back on y'all's monarchy. We wouldn't be in this situation, but now we're all friends, and that's what matters. So I'm going to say good morning to. And yes, actually, good morning to. Holy hell! I've never said good morning on my show before.
No, you haven't. You've never said good morning.
It just, you just associate Loki with good morning, so that was just way too natural for me. But hello, Starry and Purple and Sammy. Let's see. We have my number one, Chris Persia, in the house. I don't know why I'm leaning in. I can see it perfectly fine. Let's see who else. Rhonda, Josh, and Rebecca. Yes.
Taco is love. Taco is love.
Facts. These are facts. Lady Miss, good morning. La, la, la.
Yodam Darkstar, happy Independence Day.
There you go. Are you already ahead of me? I swear that was not on here. And you have another tab open.
I have another tab open on a different screen, yes.
You forget when you're in here that I even have the tab open. So you think I know, but no, of course not. Yodam Darkstar. We're a professional show, run by a professional person. Yep. I know exactly what I'm doing, trust me. So you should take my word for that and not question me at all on that. Hello, Sit Room and Darth Haster, good morning. Darth Monkey O'Rath and Derek McManus. See, he can say Happy Independence Day because he's in Ireland. So.
That's right.
So, there you go. Because, I don't know if they, probably not, because it was under the UK banner. And technically, I guess under the Great. Are they? There's different for England. For those who don't know, there's different varieties. Like, so you have England, you have Great Britain, UK, and British Isles. Those are 4 different things. I know we all kind of put them together, but they're actually all different things. And I'm not awake enough, even though it's 11 a.m., to be able to tell you what all that is. But that's a fun fact. So Today we are going to talk about. I forgot what we were going to talk about. You'd think I would realize it because it's
4th
like
of
right
July,
there. My
patriotic movies.
brain just went flatline. Just yep. So yep, that's what we're doing. We're doing American shit. There we go.
America.
Whatever. Look at the screen. Look at my makeup. We're doing something American and the subscription. Yeah, all that fun stuff. So yes, that's what we're doing. Again, professional show.
No, we don't ever go off the rails around here.
No, never. We always know what we're doing. We always stay on topic. No, I have not been drinking. So
Someone's been dipping in a little early on that 4th of July kick.
no, I had a Dr. Pepper. So that's what I did.
Sugar high.
Sugar
high.
Hey, Dega. Good morning.
A Dega.
I don't know. Depending on your time zone, I guess. No. We've already established it. Central time zone is the only time zone that matters. All other time zones should just conform to us because we are the superior time zone. So, yeah, I'll blame the squirrel for that. It's a patriotic squirrel, but it's a squirrel nonetheless.
Pissed off patriotic squirrel with a rifle.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And a grill.
And a grill. Yeah.
Fireworks in the background. And a pickup truck that's way too big for any reasonable usage.
Only gets 4 miles a gallon per gas.
Yep. Okay, so on to the topic. So when I think patriotic films, films that make me go like, fuck yeah, America. The obvious one for me, and I think I saw on my subscription feed, Bird of Prey 5 is doing a watch party, I think, for it. Independence Day.
Cool. Yeah. Independence Day.
Yeah. And you have that big, awesome speech from Bill Pullman. No, there is not a sequel. We don't talk about her.
No, and don't shoot that great shit at me.
We don't talk about her because they had 20 years. Not just in the movie, like timeline-wise, but like literally in real life, they had 20 years to make something good. And I think they waited till like 3 months before it released to even write the script because that's how much effort looked like it went into it. So we don't talk about the sequel. And also the sequel doesn't exist objectively because he didn't bring Will Smith back. So
nope. You did not bring Will Smith back, which they had to do. If they wanted to make a second Independence Day film, they had to bring Will Smith back. And they cheated.
Yeah. That's mean. I don't drink like at all. And yesterday is the first time I've drank probably in a couple months. And I had one Mike's Hard pink lemonade that I nursed for like 3 hours. So like, no. Promise, no. The drink of choice usually in America on 4th of July is because the drink usually associated with America is beer. And I have yet to find a beer that I like. I don't like any beer, so. Oh yeah.
Not even for Jeff Goldblum. Yep.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Brent Spiner came back too. I won't watch it for that either.
Yeah. I saw that movie. It was not worth it. I had heard bad things, and I was just like, oh, why? Why did you do this? You didn't have to do it. You know. Okay, we all know why they did it. You know, sequelitis. They want to make some money, which in its own funny way, it's kind of very American, but I don't think they made much.
No.
They just love sequels that they make literally just to make money, and then they don't really do that. So it's like, well, then why did you do it? Because you didn't succeed in any of it. You pissed off everyone. And then you didn't even do your goal that you did. So.
No, they didn't. And yeah, Chris Spiner was in the sequel. He played the scientist that was working on the alien tech from the first movie.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like, damn. What a waste.
What a waste. You get Will Smith. Even if you have to wait, you get Will Smith and bring him back.
Yeah.
Pullman was optional, but would have been nice.
Well, if you're going to bring him back, give him at least a half decent speech, because they tried. And, you know, they had the music, you know, it's like, you could feel it. It's like, I know what you want me to do. You're just not.
No.
You gotta bring the words too. You can't just give me the music. You can't just give me Bill Pullman. You have to actually follow through with all of it. It's bad.
Chris Persia, that was actually Randy Quaid that died in the first movie. He's the one that was like, "It's me, I'm back."
Yeah. He knows names better than I do, so I'm gonna assume he knows what he's talking about. I could look it up, but then like my whole I'm doing this on a laptop, so then my whole computer would shake, and I'm not gonna. Again, professional show. Yeah. Oh yeah. And they marketed it. Here's the funny part. I know I'm supposed to be talking about Independence Day, but the sequel is so awful. I have to talk about it. And you don't really have an opportunity to talk about it as much because you don't want to. So yeah, in the sequel, they even market it. It's like okay, so you know how in Jaws 2, how like Mama Shark came and she was bigger and badder and whatever, and they did it okay. They didn't do it okay on this one. It's the same concept. It's, oh, the mothership's coming back. And yeah.
Yeah, a bigger mothership.
Yeah,
and Starry Eyed Girl, we never saw him die. We saw the alien take control of him, and he had like those tentacles wrapped around him, but it was because he was speaking through him. So they might have originally thought, well, we'll kill him, but he did come back in the second movie, and they had taken control of him but hadn't killed him. But you never find out if he's actually dead.
Yeah, there's no body, there's no like death scene, which in the rule of thumb always, well, actually, like in one-offs, you can assume that they're dead, but like in a series, or like a movies or a TV show, if you don't see the body, well, even then, that's not true. They can really just bring anyone back anytime they want.
Yeah, Supernatural proved that they can bring anybody back as many times as they want to, and people still watch that shit.
Yeah, I did. I'm one of those people.
Yep. I watched it for 12 or 13 seasons, and I was just like, you know what, guys, you should have ended it at 10.
I watched it at. They should have waited. So what they did in season 3, when they brought the angels in, they should have waited. That should have been season 5 earliest, because we didn't get enough time of the brother development between the two of them.
Yep.
To, you know, I know we had 2 seasons worth, but they should have done more before they brought in the angels. Bringing the angels in changed it forever. I mean, it was never the same after that. And so you want the two brothers, episodic, monster of the week type thing. It was really fascinating because they brought in a lot of mythology, their own like twist on it, which is really interesting. But when they brought in the angels, it completely changed it all. So.
Yep. And you know what? We've always discussed sites like Rotten Tomatoes. At least I have for the longest time. If you go back and you look at this is OG Rotten Tomatoes. You've got a 30% critic score from 225 critics on Independence Day, and then you've got a 30% audience score from 75,039 users.
Yeah, back when Rotten Tomatoes actually was like a reputable source.
Yeah.
Like just because they're recent, this is the thing, just because recent things or events, I guess, how Rise Skywalker, you can check it right now, guarantee you the audience score is still at 86%, guaranteed. So obviously they're meddling in it, which completely destroys what they're the whole point of the site. But you go back to movies probably, I'd say 5 or 10 years and on, maybe 10 years. I don't know. Generally, the further back you go, it gets a little bit more where you're like, yeah, some really, really awful movies, you'll see like the really awful, like low scores. You're like, yeah. Oh, back when bad movies got bad scores and people weren't worried about hurting someone's feelings. And, we're just like, hey, you made a shit thing. You can do better, but this was shit.
Yep.
So, a good objective, critique that actually benefits and helps people, whereas ass kissing leads to failure and it leads to failure. Because if you're never told that you need to change something, then you better hope that it's good, because if it's not, you will not succeed. So
yeah,
ambassador.
Sorry, and the original had a 65% score from 71 critics and 75% score from 977,000 users, but it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun movie. It wasn't
a popcorn flick.
It was a popcorn flick. It was a go 4th of July and see a popcorn movie summer blockbuster event, and that's what it should have been taken for. I remember a lot of people talking on what the internet was back then, because you're talking about what, 96? This movie came out was it 96? This movie came out, yes, in theaters July 2nd, 1996. The internet was still in its infancy, but people were talking, and the talk was this was a crappy film. But if you just took it as a fun popcorn movie and just enjoyed it for what it was a good enough movie.
Yeah.
It was a nice way to spend 2 hours on your holiday.
Yeah, it's the popcorn flick has kind of died as its own, genre of sorts. The critics might not like it, and it might not win like all the awards because it's not like, this big artsy, pretentious bullshit. I just want to see a fun movie. I showed my and my parents are big fans of popcorn flicks, particularly my dad. And I actually finally, I don't know if I talked about this, but a couple months ago, finally got my parents to watch Joker, and my dad didn't like it, and I was like, you've shown me all this good stuff. Like, you introduced me, like both of y'all introduced me to Star Wars, Star Trek, all this. Y'all introduced me to all this good media. Like, why didn't you like this one? And he was like, it was depressing.
It is a depressing movie.
I wanted something fun. He said it was that's Joker. That's the dude Batman. I thought this was going to be fun, and it didn't. I didn't like it because it was depressing. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually.
It's a deep, dark, depressing film, but it's one of those ones that make you think.
Yeah.
Too. And if you walk into that expecting something like, Heath Ledger's Joker or Jack Nicholson's Joker, that's not what you're going to get.
No, and I didn't tell them a whole lot because I didn't want to spoil anything. But now I kind of feel like if I would have told them just a little bit more, they would have liked it. But, but getting back to like, Independence Day, like feel good, not really feel good, but like just films that are just there to enjoy it. And usually, like, the critics generally aren't going to give it as high of a score, because they're looking for something. They're viewing it through a different lens. Audiences, generally speaking, are just like, yeah, if I liked it, then I liked it. If it had a deeper meaning, then whatever. But if it's just Independence Day, Independence Day is a great movie.
I was in a theater in California the summer that came out and watched that on 4th of July. And it was one of those just feel good, have a good time, feel the righteousness and the patriotism kind of movie.
Sorry, it's funnier that you say that with that Avatar. So
yes.
Costume's a bit much.
Just a
yeah, just a little bit. But yeah, it's you just think about it. You think of Bill Pullman doing his speech, and you just think of course, Jeff Goldblum. Big fan of Jeff Goldblum.
That movie would have been the same without him. It wouldn't have been the same without Will Smith either.
Or Will Smith, yeah, that whole scene where he takes on the alien and he's dragging the alien across the desert, cursing him out, and just like, "What's up, bitch?" Like,
yep, I know you did not shoot that green shit at me.
Yeah. I was like, definitely. It's like back talking. It's like, that's so American. I love it so much. And then the sacrifice at the end of the dad. And I can't remember his name.
Randy Quaid. That's the actor, Randy Quaid.
At the end. And tell it's Randy Quaid. I, for some reason, my brain is like Quaid, and I immediately default to Dennis Quaid. But
Russell Case was the name of the character he played.
Russell Case, okay. But yeah, it is that sacrifice, and then it's a very brief scene, but I really like the scene where they actually show the son's reaction.
Yeah,
you know, and he's just like, yeah.
Oh, and those kids were cool too. Those kids were cool too. They had some cool teen angst that wasn't too heavy. It wasn't too teen. But when those two are in the camper and they're making out and it's playing The End of the World as We Know It at the end, while they're doing that, and he's like, "Oh, it's the end of the world, we've got to, get busy." Little fun things like that no one took too seriously then. It was nice little jokes like that they wouldn't be able to get away with now.
No, it's just, the characters seemed real. Even as brief a time as they had on screen, they seemed real. Yeah. They were grounded. And can't even get main characters now.
No, that are no, absolutely not.
Second. Nope. Okay. I might sneeze in the next 2 minutes because it keeps coming in and going away. So if my nose would decide what it wants to do, I will either sneeze or not. But if I dive off screen, that's what I'm doing because I don't need that on the internet. Anyway, continuing on with actually no. I think I know someone mentioned in the chat, but when we were talking backstage, you mentioned you wanted to talk about Patriot, right?
Patriot, Mel Gibson, the Patriot, Benjamin Martin, a hero of the French Indian War, who obviously has issues with his past. He does not want his kids to go and fight the evil English redcoats, and ends up losing two sons. One of his sons gets shot when they go to burn his plantation. He has been bringing in American soldiers and treating them as well as English soldiers. So he's treating both the English soldiers and the American soldiers at his plantation. The evil redcoat, I think he was a colonel or something, I can't remember, but shows up, burn the fields, kill the wounded, and teach these stupid colonists not to help the insurrectionists that are fighting against them. And his son gets killed. And that's a pivotal moment because he didn't want anything to do with this. He said, I fought during the French Indian Wars. I don't want anything to do with another war. I'm going to stay out of it. And then his son gets killed in front of him and he goes ballistic. They're burning down his house and he goes back into his house. He gets a tomahawk and some weapons and then goes after the soldiers that killed his son. He is not able to kill the lieutenant or the colonel or whoever the hell ordered the destruction of his plantation. But he ends up, him and two of his sons run after him with weapons of their own and cover him while he basically goes in and just starts hatcheting the shit out of these redcoats. It was a
okay.
dramatic scene that I will never forget. I can still see Mel Gibson just hatcheting away at these guys, and they end up forming a militia. He ends up joining with the insurrectionists and forming a militia of his own. And you're talking guerrilla tactics. And for anybody out there that might be here from Scotland and Ireland, the Scots and the Irish that came over actually helped lay the groundwork for the way they fought. You know, a lot of Americans talk about guerrilla war tactics and how America basically invented guerrilla war tactics. No, it was the Scots and the Irish way before them. One of the big battles you see in Braveheart that was not realistic at all was the Battle of Stirling. And
you mean Braveheart isn't fact?
Yeah, you know, there was a lot of exaggeration going on there. Yeah. But we're talking about a battle on a bridge, and they basically came up out of the water and ambushed him. How dare you?
We call you lobsters if we really wanted to piss you off. Lobster coats. Damn red coats.
But the Scots and the Irish had a lot to do with the way we fought that war, and we didn't fight fair. That's one thing that he teaches his men is go for the officers first. Well, the Brits didn't fight like that. The Redcoats did not fight like that. Do like to fight? Yes, they do, Derek McManus. Yes, they do. So do the Norris. And we all do like to fight. And they went right after the officers because the officers basically told all their men exactly what to do. And when the men didn't have that, it was all chaotic. They just they lost formation. They didn't hold rank. They didn't fight as a unit. And that was the strength of the British military, was they all fought as a unit. They all fired together. They were very disciplined. They fought together. They ate together. They did everything together. And when you took out the leadership, they folded. They freaked out and they folded.
Cut off the head of the snake.
That's right. Cut off the head of the snake. And yeah, that's the end of that. And that's how they fought. That's how they fought them, was they took out, they went for the heart every single time. They jump out of bushes and the Brits, that's not cricket. Well, fuck cricket. We're winning a war.
We're fighting a war, y'all. Come on.
That's right. And that's the way we fought it. And
you don't have to fight fair in a war.
That's right. There are no rules, and they didn't fight like that. They had rules and they had discipline. And I remember getting into it with someone about the leader that burned his farm did a whole bunch of really screwed up shit in that movie. And he makes a deal with the general that was leading all of the forces in America. He made a deal with him. He said, if you want me to do all this dastardly evil shit, you have to promise me that I'm going to be really important here when it's all over, because I'm never going to be able to get home. See, they weren't supposed to do a lot of the shit they were doing. A lot of shit this guy did in this movie, it was against the rules of war. You don't kill children. You don't do a lot of the shit he did. You don't kill women. You don't kill children. There are rules of war that were established. We fight with honor and all that. And he went against all of that. But they did a workaround in that movie, and it was a very good workaround that basically I will never be able to go home. People are going to hear about all the evil shit I've done here, and I'm never going to be able to go home. So when this is all over and we've won, I get whatever I want here in America. When we take back the colonies, I'm going to get whatever we want. And it was a nice way of backdooring all the evil shit he did and giving him the ability to do
that. Well, first of all, I've never seen that movie, and that's going on my ever-growing list of things I need to watch.
Yeah, especially on Independence Day. Especially on Independence Day. That's going to be one of my watch movies today, is The Patriot, the extended cut. Make sure you get the extended cut on Blu-ray.
Okay. All right.
And it has Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger is one of his sons.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Heath Ledger, when at the beginning of the movie, he is waiting on one of his sons to come back, and Heath Ledger's wanting to,
Oops.
Yep. And Heath Ledger wants to go off and fight, and his dad doesn't want him to. Yes, Jason Isaacs played the bad. Yes, Jason Isaacs, and he is an evil bastard in that movie. He is a evil, maniacal bastard in that movie. That's one of the first movies I think I ever saw him in, and I always, that's the bad colonel or lieutenant or whatever from the Patriot. When I later saw, of course, Harry Potter and all those movies. That's immediately what I associated him with, is that evil fucker off of the Patriot.
Yeah, like it's really interesting to watch, just in general, actors from different roles playing such because usually once an actor like gets a really big role, they kind of get typecast for that role.
Yep.
If they make it really big, as a detective, they're kind of a cop for like all their next roles. But to see people with that amount of range of, you can be like a really good guy or you can be a really bad guy. I think that's interesting.
Benjamin Martin, who is played by Mel Gibson, who obviously has taught a role in this, they call him the Ghost because no one's ever seen him. No one's ever survived an attack by him. And they want him, and they want him bad. And as I was saying, they convinced this evil colonel played by Jason Isaacs to do some dastardly shit. One of the things he does is he tells them, I have to cut off his supplies. These towns that I can't have anything to do with, that have pledged their allegiance to England, are secretly supplying them. So he hangs everyone, women, children, in a church. And then they try and burn it down with Benjamin Martin and his crew inside the church. And it is a really screwed up moment in that movie where you realize kind of what they're fighting against. And,
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He is an evil, maniacal bastard, and he wants to win, and he's going to do anything he can to make sure he wins. Whether that's burning down a farmstead, burning down a town, killing everyone in the town, and that's what I was getting into one night. Was they were not allowed to do things like that, and whether that was just for the movie, it could be said that was just for the movie. But as I said, the way they backdoored that was he was never going to be able to get to go home because of the evil shit he did. So he had to secure, before he went and did any of that, he told his commanding officer, I have to secure my place here, and it has to be a damn well important one. I want to rule one of the states of the colonies. I want to be in charge. And he didn't get his chance, obviously, because they lost.
Yay!
They have a wonderful cast in this. You've got Mel Gibson, Heath Ledger, Jolie Richardson, plays a wonderful role. Jason Isaacs, Chris Cooper, Renee Auberjonis from DS9. An absolutely wonderful cast. Tom Wilkinson, Adam Baldwin. The cast in this is absolutely top notch. Absolutely top notch. And I love the guy. I can never say his name. Tcheki Cario played this Frenchman in the movie, and he keeps promising, my people are coming, my people are coming, my people are coming, and they don't show up till the very end of the movie when the war's almost over. But finally the French show up and start. Yeah.
Thank you, France.
Thank you, France.
Nothing like last minute, but
that's right. And for any Americans out there that have always said, we bailed y'all's ass out in WW2, France just surrendered. Now, wait a minute, guys. They came and bailed us out when we were fighting for our independence. And it's those evil British lords.
Damn you, British people. Oh my God. Just lost what? Like, I think my YouTube analytics say that I have 20% British. or 20% UK. So sorry. No offense. I have British blood in me too, so you know. Damn it. Good Lord. Oh God. Oh hey, hey Auburn Times, how you doing? You've been streaming like crazy. Oh, and if you still need help figuring out how to share your screen on StreamYard, I can kind of give you a little like step-by-step little tutorial for that. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. American Day. Sorry. I have English blood, so
like, Starry, feeling love here, guys. Thanks. But of course, it's an American movie, and one of the things I found very interesting was no one in the UK had ever heard of this movie. It was like, you know, no one knew about this movie, and when I saw it, I didn't think about that. You know, I just thought, well, movies are released; they get released everywhere. No, they don't.
I don't think that would have got over well in the UK, considering the portrayal of that general. We're joking. We're not being serious. I think we might be in trouble. So.
Change subject. Go to a different movie.
Anyway, moving forward. That's all right. I mean, there's no set time. I mean, yeah, I start, but like you can really just pop in at any time. It's great. So.
But the director's cut of that is totally worth getting because it's one of those like Lord of the Rings type deals. The original movie's 2 hours, 45 minutes long. The extended edition is like almost 4 hours. So you get the extended edition. It's worth it. You're getting what you pay for.
All right. Well, as long as it's, you know, good content that's added on.
It is.
You know,
it is very good content. It's
Ghostbusters 2016. So
no, it's all story content and all things that are really important to the movie and the film. And obviously they cut them because they did not want to have a movie over 3 hours long in the theater.
Yeah. I mean, who's heard of a 3 hour long movie being in a theater?
Oh, yeah. Well, I heard they were pissed that it was 2 hours and 45 minutes. They were pissed that it was almost 3 hours long and they didn't cut it down even more. Well, you cut that movie down even more and you've just got action. That's all you've got.
You just got a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, you've just got a Michael Bay movie.
So, no story, just a bunch of. Oh, that's lovely. I have a spider on the outside of my window. Go away. Must be a British spider. I'm gonna get so much trouble. Oh God. It's not. All right, fun fact for everyone. I can't handle spiders very well. So this is disconcerting. Thank you. I would shut my blinds, but that's my only source of light right now. So all right. Anyway, we're getting distracted by the thing. Let's talk about. Let's see. Talk about War of 1812. I got to refresh on my history a little bit. We've been through a lot of wars. That's not one of the big ones that everyone talks about. Isn't that the... you know what? I'm going to move on because I don't want to embarrass myself. Mm-hmm. Oh no, really? Oh, okay. Kind of a bummer.
Real life.
Oh no, it's kind of a bummer.
I was too. I heard he was going to be the captain, and I was excited when I first heard that. I was like, "Oh, that's great! He's going to be a great captain." Yeah, no.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, would I really? I don't know if there's anyone. I don't even think I'd wish, you know, someone like Brie Larson going on to STD. I just don't think it should exist, honestly. Spiders are a sign of a dry house. No, I think that's more concerning if it's red, right? I don't know. I felt aren't bright colors bad in the wild? Whatever. Anyway, we're moving on. Get it away from spiders. And let's see. Ooh. So one that isn't really like makes me like proud to be like an American. But it isn't. I guess it's kind of patriotic in a way. Apollo 13 is a big movie for me in regards to that.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, I know, Derek. Yeah.
YouTube's got cheese now.
I do like cheese.
Not moldy old cheese, though. That's some moldy old cheese.
Not self-hating white cheese. Oh, hey, Captain Trek. How you doing? Happy 4th, man. Yeah, shit. I don't know. Does she keep giving, or do we just want her to? Yeah. Go away.
What's up, Cap?
Failure is not an option. That is a good movie. Apollo 13 is a good movie. It's one of those movies that actually, it's even better that it happened. It really happened. That's something, sometimes we forget in these movies that are based off real events, is we get so caught up in the movie. No, that thing happened. They actually did that. They took, what is it? They took like nothing. Okay, they don't have the technology we do now. Right? Not even close. Okay, my phone probably has a more high-tech computer system in it than they did in NASA at the time when they did that thing. So it's like, y'all, the fact that the right stuff. I forgot about the right stuff. How did I forget about that movie? And oh, hey, Laurie.
I'll accept the Brits. Damn straight, Laurie.
This is like hate British Day. 1776. Yeah, I feel like I've seen it. Cause isn't that the musical about writing the Declaration of Independence? And is that the one where the guy that plays Thomas Jefferson like has a whole scene about how hard it is to write the Declaration of Independence, and then he gets laid, and then he writes it? Is that the movie? Because they showed that in school, and I thought that was hilarious. It's like, oh, he just needed to get laid in order to write the Declaration of Independence. I hope that's true, because that's hilarious. Oh, yes. Awesome. Yay. That's America for you. Oh, it's America for you. Oh, yeah. At Apollo 13, they use slide rules to do the calculations. What is slide rules?
Oh, my God. You don't know what a slide rule is.
All right, tell it to me. I might actually know it. I just don't know the name.
Let's see. Let's look up the actual.
Over there laughing at me. So mean. Slide rules. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I know what it is. I know what things are. I just don't know the name because I don't realize there's a special name to it.
The slipstick or slide rule is a mechanical analog computer. As graphical analog calculators, slide rules are closely related to nomograms, but the former are used for general calculations, whereas the latter are used for application-specific computations. They also thumbed it, if you remember that. Keep it lined up in the crosshairs at exactly this and this degrees, and they had to eyeball a lot of what they were doing.
Uh-oh. We're in trouble.
They actually, I was talking about this with the Dega the other night on a Thursday, our Thursday night stream. I think before we streamed, they found a tablet in Egypt about a mile from Giza, and they had no idea what was on it. It was not in a language they'd ever seen before, and the archaeologists passed it around. Yes, and one of the archaeologists sent it to a mathematician. And that mathematician said, this is advanced calculus that we run through computers to do today. You know, when we're building a building, we run all this through a computer, and it tells us whether that building is going to be structurally sound at the end of the day. They were doing that freehand on a tablet. So human ingenuity has been there for 10,000 years or more. And then you get to something like Apollo 13, where they had to actually do the calculations in their head, and they had to short form it, and they didn't have time to write out every calculation possible. They had to do it on the fly. That's ingenuity. That's human ingenuity.
Yeah, I mean, it's what is this? Our kids today, truth is, I had to learn to use it, but never had to use. Kind of like trick, you have to pass.
Yep.
Yeah, don't you just love that? Don't you just there was, okay, I'll never forget this, because it was so bizarre to me. In high school, when I was taking Algebra 2, there's a whole, because our semesters sort of were divided in like 3 6-week periods. So we had 6 weeks. We had a whole 6 weeks, so a whole month and a half, dedicated to something called an imaginary number. And it's just like this italicized little lowercase I. And we had to learn to like do like square roots and like multiply with it and all this kind of stuff. It's a number that doesn't exist. And we had a whole month and a half dedicated to that. You know what I wasn't taught? Taxes. That's what I wasn't taught in school. But by God, they made sure I knew about my imaginary number.
Yep.
And I remember it only, and I don't remember anything else about it. I just remember how bizarre that was. You know, even my English class, which had me analyzing, you know, Shakespearean sonnets, that actually did have some, that actually had some other usage, like, you know, critiquing and analyzing. You know, help develop your brain to do that. And to this day, you know, I love analyzing and stuff. So that actually was useful. Your imaginary number bullshit, woman, lady, teacher, definitely isn't watching this, but definitely remember you. Thank you for giving me something that I never learned, but can talk about how useless it was. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Because way to just waste things. Anyway, we're gonna move up back to Apollo 13, where there was math being used that was useful, woman. But the idea that they had, you know, I love the scene where they have like, this is what they have on the ship. Dump, and it's just all garbage.
Yep.
And they're just like, you gotta help them fix whatever the hell.
It was the air filters.
Yeah,
it was the air filters. The scrubbers in the ship were okay. They had to move out of the habitat module and move out of the ship itself and move into the habitat. That habitat was never designed to support 3 people. It was only designed to support 2. So the air scrubbers were failing. They were going to lose oxygen. They weren't going to be able to breathe. The scrubbers in the ship were not the same size as the scrubbers in the module because they outsourced them to 2 different companies, which is the dumbest thing they could have done. They should have been the exact same so they could just swap them out. But they weren't. So they had to figure out how to get a square air scrubber into a round hole. How do you get a square into a round hole? Moaning about school.
Yeah, high school, which I've been out of for years now, but yeah.
And that's what you're talking about when they dump everything on the desk. That's we've got this, and we have to figure out how to turn this into An air scrubber.
Exactly. It's just like, and I also get the chalkboard, and they're just like, they're like, okay, guys, so this gets us to here. We need it to here, and they're just like, I don't know, and it's just like,
well,
that's not an option. Failure is not an option, guys. You have to figure this out.
If they were off even the slightest bit, they'd have got shot into space. No one would have ever seen them again.
Yeah.
In fact, the first Apollo mission, Nixon had a speech ready because they were like 50-50 on whether the lander was going to be able to take off and hook back up with the ship. So those astronauts that were on the moon may have never left the moon. So he had a speech all ready to go in case they could not take off. They use a hammer.
Then they actually didn't have a hammer, I don't think, on there. So.
But yeah, Nixon had a speech all ready to go just in case they could not take off and they could not leave the moon, the atmosphere of the moon.
Yeah. It just, people don't think about that.
Well, they literally strapped an Acme rocket to their ass and went to the moon. They pulled a Wile E. Coyote. The United States and Russia pulled Wile E. Coyotes and got people in space by strapping an Acme rocket to their ass.
Yeah. Oh, there's like nothing. I mean, it is just like there's like a sheet of metal protecting between you and space. That's it. That's all you got.
Some of that wasn't even metal. Some of that would, like in the lander, that was like almost like tinfoil.
The gold, the little gold stuff. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. And I don't know about anybody else, but at the end scene when they're like, we're back home and everyone jumps up, it's like I tear up and I want to start clapping and getting up, and I would just be like, yes, we did it. Like, I've seen this movie. I'm even tearing up now. We've seen this movie like 5,000 times, and it's just like, yes, thank you.
Well, there are, of course, conspiracy theorists that believe that was all a hoax. All of that was a hoax to drive up watch time for NASA and to get their numbers back up, because after they landed on the moon, the interest dropped. We did it. Russia didn't. And even that, conspiracy theorists have gone after that and said it never happened. It's all stage effects and fake.
I've seen some of that, and I'm just gonna like, guys, what do we benefit if it didn't happen? Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe just leave that one alone, because I think it's way cooler if it did happen.
Lori, I'm 50-50 on that one.
Hold on, you're ahead of me. The delay, the awful delay, the really awful delay. Jesus Christ.
Scroll up and scroll back down. That's how I cheat it.
No, that didn't do anything.
Okay.
All right. Well, boo to you, StreamYards. Oh, there we go. 50-50 on that one. Yeah. That is true. That is true. They didn't get enough attention when they were a child, and they want to feel very special. Those are the types of people that no matter how much you tell them they're wrong, you will just reaffirm how right they are in their brain.
As much as I like the, when you get to the end of the map and it says "Here be dragons." As much as I like that, no, the Earth is not flat.
No, sorry, flat earthers. Earth is a globe. Y'all are gonna have to get over that. I'll tell you. They figured this out before we even had like pictures. They mapped it out centuries ago.
Some people got put in prison because they thought the Earth was round. Yep. Some people got hanged because they thought the Earth was round.
Yeah, now we have access to all this technology, and y'all are like, nah, it's flat. Because y'all don't understand gravity. I mean, it's okay. You just learn about gravity. Like, I know, you have a ball, and you have a ball, and someone falls off it. It's like, okay, yeah, I understand where you came from that. But there's a force that's pulling things in to the center of it, and that's gravity. Because that thing is bigger than us. So it has more power over us, which is what the gravity is. So the gravity pushes. And that's how we stand on the side of a globe. Oh, yeah. Did the thing just flicker? The StreamYard just kind of flicker for you too?
Yep.
Okay. It's like you muted, and then I like did a little buffering thing. I don't know what that was. Okay.
You're still on mine though. You're still getting chat. Didn't get booted. Whew.
Yeah, I don't want to. Too much effort to restart the damn thing. Have you know the flags around the? That's amazing. Please tell me that's on all their advertisements and postcards that they send out. That'd be amazing. But yeah, Apollo 13 just it is so. Yeah, and I like the part at the end, of course, that where it's it tells you what happened to everyone. I like it just in general that it tells you, but it's kind of depressing. What happened to everybody? You're like, oh, no. Like, what are your thoughts on Forrest Gump? Forrest Gump is brilliant in how it mixes entertainment and historical fact. It is the perfect blend, I think.
Inserting him into those scenes was revolutionary at the time. A lot of people have never seen anything like that before. And you've got two Forrest Gump alumni in this movie too. You got Tom Hanks and you got Gary Sinise.
Yep.
And the Apollo 13 had a great cast: Bill Paxton, Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Gary Sinise, Ed Harris. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful cast.
Yeah.
Ed Harris was my favorite. Having him in control at NASA, and how they start that out with him opening the package from his wife, and it's that white vest, and he puts it on. He wears that throughout the whole, through the whole movie. He never leaves.
Yeah. I could not think of the name of the actor, but yeah, Ed Harris, I'd have to say, is my favorite too. He just he embodied the he was like, how to put it, in the midst of all the chaos, he was like this structured order, even though he was feeling it just like everybody else. He was the leader that had to be there. That whole, no one else could have done that.
Nope.
Keeping calm, being able to, rally people, not get them to hurry, get them, to do what they need to do. The perfect blend of encouragement, but also getting on you for it was a perfect leader. Exactly what they needed. Kevin Bacon's character, knowing also this, I'm pretty sure this is how it happened too. Obviously, probably exaggerated, dramatized a bit, because it is Hollywood. But Kevin Bacon's character having to stay behind because they thought he had the measles, and then he didn't end up having the measles.
Oh, that was Gary Sinise.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Gary Sinise played Ken Mattingly, and Ken.
Whatever. Yes, him. My bad. Sorry, guys. That was my bad. I got the characters mixed up.
Kevin Bacon was Jack Swigert, and he's the one who went.
My bad. Sorry,
because he's the one who swirled who rotated the oxygen tanks, and that's when the accident happened.
Yes, you're right. He was with Tom Hanks on Apollo 13. Yes, you're right, 100%. Whatever. Character, stay behind. Also, absolutely love that, because it was meant to be. That's what was supposed to happen, because they would not have been able to do it without him.
Well, if he would, a lot of the theory states that if he would have gone, that would have never happened, because Kevin Bacon's character did not follow the correct procedure when he circulated the tank, or however the hell they talked about it. When he did that, he did not follow the correct procedure, but there was also a defect in that tank. So it was kind of like a series of unfortunate events that led to that. Could that have happened with if Ken had been on board? Yes, it could have, but it might not have.
Right.
So Gary Sinise being left behind and then doing everything he could in those simulators to figure out a way to get them back. He was largely responsible for getting them back.
Exactly.
So if that would have happened with him on the ship, they might never have gotten back.
Yeah. But so the right stuff. I've seen that mentioned like several times in the chat. And yeah. I haven't seen that movie as much as I've seen the other ones. I think I've seen that movie one time. So I'm a bit fuzzier on it than the other ones. And hell, I just completely switched 2 characters on Apollo 13, and I have seen that movie probably 50 times. So Lord knows that, with what my memory is going to be on. My memory is good until I get on the stream, and then it just goes.
Well, there was I've always liked Gary Sinise, but there was a very, very interesting ride you could ride at Disney in Florida. I do not know if it is still there. It was at Disney World. It was called Mission to Mars, and you're in a simulator that's also a centrifuge, and you actually have to pilot a spacecraft and land on Mars. And it was a really cool ride. You've got 4 people in the ride with you, and you've got a control board and joysticks, and you can decide, okay, I want to be the pilot, so I need to stand here when we go in line. So if you're on one side, when they let the 4 people in, you could be the pilot, and other people get to be engineering and control and different aspects of the spaceship in the pilot area. Really cool ride though, and Gary Sinise is talking to you as you're waiting in line. Closes. That was an awesome ride. It really was. It was an awesome ride.
Okay. Yeah,
that's an old picture too.
Oh, yeah, black and white, and this is film because you can tell there's a.
Oh no, there was then it's a different one because that's 1993, and I was there in 2004.
I'm trying. Well, apparently, let's see. What is this?
That was built in 75. This was something new that had just come out in 2004.
73. Let's see. Oh no. Hold on a second. We're trying. All right. Mission Mars. Are you saying Disney World or Disneyland?
It's Disney World, and it was Gary Sinise that was like your mission control officer.
Okay, here we go. Hold on. In the middle. Is this the one?
Nope.
No?
No. You had a 4-man crew.
This was 1973. Mission Mars. This is an article in This article came out in 2015. So. Very dramatic. Sorry. Are we seeing anything familiar? No.
I think that was the waiting area you had to wait in, that picture you passed.
Let me see. Okay, so I kept saying, whenever I search this, it says mission space. So maybe mission to Mars became mission space.
Yeah, mission space. I bet you that is exactly, yep. Or mission space became mission to Mars. Who knows? But it was a cool ride. It was a cool ride, and you guys go up in a spaceship, and you actually felt it. So when you're taking off, you feel like you're on your back, and you're shaking, and you feel like the G's, and because they've got you in a centrifuge. That's one of the things the astronauts have to do is go in a centrifuge and actually feel the gravity pulling on. And when you're doing that, if you close your eyes, you can feel the spinning. You can tell that you're not actually feeling the G's in your chest, that you're spinning to your left. Because that's the way it worked. You were spinning to your left instead of actually being pulled or pushed. It simulated the effect of the G-force.
Okay, hold on. I have a picture. We're trying. I'm trying. Because now I'm curious. So.
Chris Persia says, Captain, search for Mission Space, Mission to Mars ride at Epcot.
Is this it?
Yep, that's it. That is it. Holy
yeah, it's
shit.
called Mission. It's called Mission Space now. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. That's the ride. You're actually in there, and they've got I think they've got 8 different capsules, so that 4 people times 8, 32 people can ride at the same time.
Yeah.
Mission
So
Space.
this is it.
And of course, that turned into whatever they did with the Millennium Falcon ride.
I don't talk about her.
I'm sure they used the same technology.
Yeah, talk about her. Because that's Solo, Millennium Falcon. So, yep. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I kept seeing Mission Space, and I was just like, so Mission to Mars. This is totally no, it's not. We're talking about space, and that's America. There's an American flag on the moon. We own space. So it's still America. Because I think Mission to Mars was, I think, the original name. I changed it to Mission Space, and Mission Mars was what I was looking at. It opened in 1973 in Disneyland. So I guess they wanted one also in Disney World.
I actually got to ride that opening day at Epcot. I got to ride that the very first day it was there. Huge lines, of course, but I had a cheater pass that you could bypass.
Fast pass?
Yeah, fast pass.
Wow, that's a good shit. Totally worth it. Oh, yep. Now everyone does it, so it's not. So, apparently Purple's been on it. Do they have?
Oh, wow.
Do they have Disney World? Did you go to the American one, or is there actually like a Disney World? I know there's a Disney World in China. Is there Disney World elsewhere?
There's Disney Worlds all over the world.
Yeah, I've only been to the one in Florida. I haven't even been to Disneyland. But...
There's even one in China now.
Yeah. Yeah, don't tell anyone. I really like Universal.
Yeah, Chris Persia, there's Disney EU.
Okay, sorry. I thought Disney EU, and I was just like, Extended Universe. I was like, no. Yeah, that's immediately what I thought. I was just like, ugh. Oh, they're ruining the EU. I haven't even started the EU. They're already ruining it. And then now you're obviously talking about Europe. So cool. There we go. That's interesting. I had no idea. I don't even have a passport, so there's like, I can't go anywhere legally outside of my country. So I didn't know that. That's cool. All right. I didn't know this. I like George Washington. George Washington was kind of cool for me.
Thomas Jefferson. Teddy Roosevelt, probably. If I had to pick a top one, Teddy Roosevelt, even though he wasn't a founding father. Good old Teddy riding in with the Rough Riders. And Sam Houston.
Sorry, sorry, my bad. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. My bad.
Sam Houston. You know, if I had to pick two iconic characters from American history, it's going to be Teddy Roosevelt and Sam Houston.
Characters. 2 iconic characters?
Oh, iconic legends, whatever.
There you go. No. Do you want to go to one? Just drag Lori to a Disney park. Actually, no, screw that.
Burn it down.
We'll drag her to Universal. It's more fun.
Yeah, go to Universal. It's more fun. Mm-hmm. It is. I tell you what, guys. We're talking over 15 years ago now. $5,000, and that wasn't enough. The food, the park, the stay, and you think, oh, well, $5,000 is going to be plenty for a week. No. And that was 16 years ago.
Yeah, they keep raising those prices.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know what they're going to do now because I've kind of generally been, without, sorry, I got distracted. I don't know what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Whatever, doesn't matter. I've been to Universal. I've been to Disney several times. Universal was awesome. Do yourself a favor if you go and you have butterbeer at Harry Potter World. First of all, get the frozen one. The other ones doesn't even matter. Get the frozen one.
Frozen.
And then do not think you're going to be able to ride rides after you drink that sucker. Don't. You can't. And enjoy yourself. So, yes, that is from experience. So.
No butterbeer. I'll remember that.
No butter. If you're planning on doing any rides, don't do any butterbeer, because you're not going to enjoy it. You're just not going to enjoy yourself. Now you can do butterbeer afterwards. And when I went there last was several years ago. They didn't have. They were just okay. Last time I went there, they were constructing the Transformers section.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the last time I went there. And
Michael Bay Transformers or old school?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, I had just gotten like really into Transformers, and so I was very disappointed. Jurassic Park rides, so good. I don't think Jurassic World had come out, so I don't know. Okay, so when you walk into the Jurassic Park section, they have the giant doors that you see in the movie as their entrance. It's awesome. Yeah, that's the entrance and exit. Yeah. On both sides. They have it. It's like it's straight out of the movie. Those things are big.
Yep.
They're huge. In Harry Potter World, it's like they recreated Hogwarts and stuff. And I know.
Diagon Alley.
I don't think I don't remember if they had Diagon Alley or if they had just kind of. No, they didn't have Hogsmeade. That's what they didn't have.
You got to have Diagon Alley so people can buy shit.
Yeah, I think they had just done that, but we were more interested in the rides because we were all teenagers. We weren't as interested in buying things. Although I made sure to buy stuff for my whole family because what I do if I go on a big trip, I try to do that. Yep. And so yeah, it was.
You go tour the UK with the same amount of cash as you could, Lori.
Yeah, but, it's cool. I don't know. Whatever. Nah.
It depends on what kind of a trip you want to take. If you want to go do rides and you want to do that, you go to a theme park. If you want to go see things that are historical and you want to go see history and you want to go see a lot of beautiful things, trip around the UK, especially if you go to. I went through Amsterdam, Germany, the UK. I went through Paris. I didn't really like Paris, but it was you see some really, really beautiful sights. I want to go back to Rome. I absolutely want to go back to Rome. But it was very trashy. There was a lot of trash. That's one thing I didn't expect was the level of just dirty shit and the disrespect for a lot of this. You go to some place like Rome and you're thinking, man, it's absolutely beautiful. Some of the things you see, the graffiti, it's just like anywhere else. And I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting respect. Things that were 2,000 years old.
Aw, kind of a bummer. See, I love Greek and Roman architecture, especially the columns. I love that stuff. That stuff's great. So, ooh. I didn't even think about that. Probably not so much anymore, but
Well, they're still doing the tours in where they filmed Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but Lord of the Rings ended well. Lord of the Rings didn't piss off their entire fan base in like 6 episodes. So,
No.
you know.
A lot of people got pissed about The Hobbit, but not Lord of the Rings now.
Yeah, no, because they're technically 2 separate things. Yeah, you can connect them, but you cannot separate season 8 from the rest of Game of Thrones. You just can't. No. You can try, but you can't.
You just act like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But then you don't have a story. You don't have a conclusion to your story.
Yep. All right, my chat has exploded with people talking about going to the UK.
UK Con.
I'd love to go to UK. I'm gonna have to get, that's a whole thing. That's like gonna be a year planning of going there.
Or more.
Yeah, that's not. I'm not gonna be able to just drop everything and just go. Not that kind of. Can we rent a party bus? Okay, as someone who's been on a party bus when I went to prom, they ain't all that they're cracked up to be, honey.
There are rumors floating around that we may have a Dragon Con here next year, and that some people might be making an appearance at Dragon Con.
Really?
Yes.
Can't imagine who those people would be.
No, can't imagine.
No.
So what's next on our agenda? We've got Captain America. It's one of the movies I brought up, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Another obvious one, but yeah.
And when this came out, when the first Captain America movie came out, there were people that slammed it because they felt it was a U.S. patriotic movie, and I remember hearing, it's filled with American propaganda and blah 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 blah, but they honored the times, and that's something you don't see today. They honored the times, and they went to the roots of Captain America in World War II. And there's even been articles today how, Cap was selfish and only did it because of his own selfish wants and selfish needs. If that was true, he wouldn't have jumped on that grenade.
Yeah, that was the whole point of that scene. Did you even see the movie, y'all?
Yeah, did you even see the movie, or are you just completely talking out of your asses?
Yeah, I want to do that.
Drops that grenade, and Chris Evans jumps on it. Steve Rogers, and Colonel Phillips. And Colonel Phillips throws that grenade, and Steve jumps on it, and he's like, "Get back, get back!" And he's like, he's still skinny.
Yeah, that's still hard to. Watching that is just kind of like seeing Chris Evans' head. It's too big for whatever, whoever that they were using. I don't know how they did it, but the it just
how they made him small. How they made him small?
Yeah, I don't know how they did that.
What they did was they used a small actor, and they of course put his face on him, but they also slimmed him down even more, because obviously you can't take Chris Evans and take all that bulk and whittle him down and then bulk him back up later in the movie for Cap. So they did some old school trickery and some CGI work on him, and just made him a little guy. It was simple back then because Disney didn't own it. So they did whatever they could, and did it not as cheap as they possibly could, but they kept the cost down by doing it the way they did it. If you watch the making of Captain America, that is probably the most interesting thing they did throughout that whole movie, was making him a little guy, making him a little skinny guy.
I think they should have done just a little bit with the head, just kind of shrunk it down just a little bit, because it doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't.
It looks, it's too, so I think that if they would have just shrunk it down just a little bit, that would have been a lot better. It's just off enough, just often. Yeah, go on.
But you've got this guy that wants to be a part, and there were men that could not go, and they were almost seen as pariahs back then. Oh, you're not going to fight. You're staying here. Why? You know, if you were an able-bodied, if you looked able-bodied, why the hell aren't you over there fighting? Well, some people had illnesses. Some people were physically handicapped. There were all kinds of things where if you didn't pass that test, you weren't going. And like I said, they almost looked at you like a pariah for not going. And he wanted to be a part of the effort to take down the Nazis. And I think the most story-wise, the most striking thing about that is even after he becomes Cap, he's handicapped. They will not let him fight in that war. They're not going to let him do it. They make him, you know, they put him in that outfit and have him doing show tunes. Oh, I knocked out Hitler 87 times. Well, he didn't really knock out Hitler. He knocked out some actor playing Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was fine when he was home, but when he went over to see the troops, they didn't give a shit about him. They wanted to see the girls.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to see the showgirls. Bring out the women. Well, it wasn't until, you know, he went and did what he did and saved Bucky and saved all those guys and brought them back.
Save Bucky.
Yeah. Bucky Barnes, that they started taking him seriously. He's not just some actor playing a role. He is a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely agree with Starry. That is one of Chris Evans' best performances. I absolutely loved him as Cap.
Oh, he was perfect as Cap.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know.
He played a horrible Johnny Storm, but he was great as Cap.
Horrible, but better than yeah.
Yeah.
Which, you know, you can give a great actor, and I think Michael B. Jordan's a great actor. But
he's
don't
not.
Give him a script.
He's not Johnny Storm.
Well, I mean, you don't give him a script; they can't do anything anyway.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how good the actor is. They can't do anything with a bad script. You can act the shit out of it, but it's a bad script. It's a bad plot. You know, it's a bad story.
And I think that really magnifies the problem with everything Hollywood's doing. It used to be who is the best possible person for this role, who is going to nail this role, and now it's a bunch of check boxes. That's all it is, a bunch of check boxes.
Yep.
And that's sad. I don't care if Cap's white, black, orange, green, a giant, a short guy. I don't care if the person plays the role the way it's meant to be played. That's what we all want. It doesn't matter at the end of the day what they look like. It matters whether they can pull it off or not.
Yeah, guys. That's interesting. Debate time.
Movies were crap.
Well,
clobbering times. I liked the guy that played Ben Grimm. I liked him. I liked him in The Shield. I keep wanting to call him Mackie because that's immediately the name I go to because that's who he was in The Shield. But I absolutely liked him as Ben Grimm.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the other day you said that you didn't like him as Ben Grimm, the way they played it as Ben Grimm, but I liked him as Ben Grimm.
I don't really know. Like I said, when it comes to like the comics of Marvel, I don't know that. I only really got into Marvel because of the cinematic universe. I really didn't. But to this day, I only know things about the comic books when, you know, I'm told them and then I look it up or do like any little bit of research. But other than that, I know a lot more about DC than I do about Marvel. I liked him. I liked that Fantastic Four. But but I also don't know how they were supposed to be portrayed. So I know from what I've heard in Iron Man's supposed to be this absolute just asshole, this horrible, like complete dick, and he's like this abusive drunk, and I love Iron Man. Like he put Robert Downey,
Robert Downey, RDJ was perfect for that. He is Tony Stark.
Yeah, real life.
He is Iron Man. He is Tony Stark in real life. Yeah. When I saw him, I was like, oh my God, they absolutely have nailed it. Robert Downey Jr. is perfect for that role. Absolutely perfect. Michael Chiklis, thank you, Clobbering Time. Yes, Michael Chiklis. I was calling Mackie because of the shield. But yeah, you're right, Michael Chiklis. And I like to see that. I really do. I like to see when I see like a TV person that I really enjoy, a TV personality, get a break in a movie. When Jason Momoa got to be in Conan, I thought, okay, he's going to be big time. And then Conan sucked balls. And he went back and did Game of Thrones and then got Aquaman. I was totally excited because I'd watched him in Atlantis. I had seen him in Baywatch, of all things. Jason Momoa in Baywatch.
Jason Momoa. Love me some Jason Momoa.
So when I see a character or an actor like that get a big break in a movie, I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think, that's my opinion, they're going to regret getting rid of him.
Oh yeah.
If they're not already. They really, I think only, honestly, I think they only got rid of him because of how much he was asking, how much they made him, worth so much more money when they originally started. When he was originally, oh hey, Cobalt and Budgie. Hello. Wasn't he like, he's paid like nothing in Iron Man?
They weren't even going to keep him in. They were going to bring in the guy that was playing Rhodey. He was going to take over the mantle. That was the original plan, but Robert Downey Jr. he knocked it so out of the park as Iron Man that they kept him in. But yeah, he made less than a quarter of what the guy who yes, Roman candles. Yes, Budgie.
Oh my gosh. Everyone duck.
Be me, Cobalt. I keep giving him Roman candles.
Yeah, that would be him.
But yeah, RDJ made less than a quarter of what the guy who played Rhodey made. And they weren't going to pay him the same amount of money to stay. That's why they recast Rhodey. They had moved that money over to Robert Downey Jr. because they wanted to keep Robert Downey Jr. coming back because he is Iron Man. He is Iron Man. There's no doubt about that. They nailed the casting. So they recut a lot of that second movie to keep Robert Downey Jr. in there and keep it going. Because of course they had a giant blockbuster on their hands.
Oh yeah. My three favorite MCU characters: Iron Man, Loki, obviously, and Hela. Those are my three favorite. And yeah, Iron Man is my favorite MCU movie, and he nailed it. When I first watched Captain America, it was like my first introduction of Captain America, like probably ever.
Oh, really? Really? That's cool.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, oh man, Marvel Superman. Damn it.
No, totally different.
No. Like, just on the base level. The Trinity of...
The Boy Scout aspect. The Boy Scout aspect of Superman and Cap, yeah.
Superman, Captain America, Iron Man, Batman, and then Thor and Wonder Woman. They're very, on base levels, very similar. I know that the Avengers are technically supposed to be, I think, a B team.
Yep.
But Whereas like X-Men, Fantastic Four, those are all like A-team. If I'm at least X-Men, I'm thinking. But I see there's a pretty clear mirroring there. And so that's what I relate it to. And I was never that big of a Superman fan because it was just like, oh, he's a goody goody two shoes, great. Something they did in Captain America that I learned to appreciate later is they did this thing that is missing from movies that become series. They put something in the movie that tied back to other movies, not like retconned other movies in the future, but actually had a plan. I know, what a weird concept. Having the Tesseract in Captain America was brilliant. Like, that was like, oh yeah, they actually have a plan with this thing.
Yep.
Oh, what is that? I have no idea. What's an Infinity Stone? I don't know.
Infinity Stone.
I have no idea. This is like my introduction. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. Okay, whatever. What the hell's this blue thing? Why does,
that Odin hid on Earth.
Like,
that Odin hid on Earth.
Like, what the hell's happening? I don't understand. Whatever. It's like,
that's Yggdrasil. That's the World Tree where Red Skull gets the Tesseract from, is the World Tree. And it's at the base of Yggdrasil. So yeah, that was hidden there by Odin. Back when Odin was still going to Midgard, Earth.
But yeah, something in Captain America that Captain America that happened in Captain America was Red Skull, and that was cool. Red Skull seemed kind of cool. Having
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving, who I absolutely adore from V for Vendetta. That's like, obviously also The Matrix and other things, but he is V for me. That was kind of fun to watch that, because you can hear the voice. You're just like, and obviously imagining, oh, that's what's under the Guy Fawkes mask. Is that? Yeah, I'd probably cover that up too, honestly. Yeah, just my personal opinion, but one of the many mistakes they made in Endgame, in Endgame, if I'm remembering this correctly. Was it also in Infinity War? Was he also in Infinity War?
Cap?
No, Red Skull.
No, he was in the Endgame.
He was only in Endgame. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Red Skull. You're just like.
And it wasn't even Hugo Weaving.
No, not the voice. Not the voice I remember. It was just like, if y'all wanted to do a callback, this was not what you wanted to do.
That was his punishment. That's where the Tesseract sent him. That was his punishment. He was stuck there for all time for using what he was using the way he was using it.
No, I understand that, but they wrote that in. That wasn't.
No, that wasn't.
No, they wrote that in. So that's not like, it's not like that was always what was supposed to happen. Unless whatever.
There were people that saw that coming, though. There were people that saw that coming.
There's always people who see stuff. There's 8 billion of us. Somebody's seeing something that's coming, okay? I'm just saying, there's so many of us to not see that, I thought that was weird. I was like, okay, well, he wasn't a big enough character. If anyone, in my opinion, if anyone was going to do it, it should have been Loki.
Yep.
And what could have been cool is you had...
He paid his price, though. See, the problem, the reason why Red Skull was stuck there forever was to pay for all the shit he did. Loki did that. Loki had his redemption arc, and...
Disagree, but okay.
In a way, Loki had his redemption arc and paid the price for all the shit he did.
Disagree, but okay. Well, I just think that like Red Skull and Black Widow and they don't have. There's no connection there.
There is no connection.
I thought if you had Loki there, like, okay, fine, you killed him off, whatever.
If Cap would have been there, that would have been interesting. If Cap would have gone and Cap would have seen him, and
that would have been okay. But there's no connection to these characters, so there's no emotional anything. So you just like it feels forced. So you either needed Cap to go in order to have Red Skull there, and I would have been okay with that, or you have Loki there, and Loki and Hawkeye have some serious unfinished business. Because Loki like straight up possessed him in Avengers. And so to have him kind of be like, yeah, I'm sorry, man, like, to atone from that, it's like, that would have been something. You needed to have a character there for the characters that were there. Or, I don't know, have a Black Widow movie so that maybe there's a character there from both of their pasts.
Well, Loki was possessed himself. See, that's something that they never go into in Avengers, the first Avengers.
His eyes were blue, and he was clearly possessed. Yeah, at the beginning, at least. Yep. He'd been tortured by the Centauri.
Yep,
that's something. Yeah, people don't think about, or it's like no. When he fell, like that wasn't him. What he looked like when he fell, because he had his little scepter, and everything. It was just like, no, guys, I don't think you understand. He was tortured into doing this. He went through some shit, and they didn't show it obviously because kids movie. But no, they tortured the shit out of him. He looks really bad when he pops up for the first time in Avengers, and it's because of that. He was tortured, mentally, physically, emotionally, completely tortured into doing their bidding, and his eyes are very, very blue when he first appears.
And Starry makes a good point. We were robbed seeing Cap and Red Skull face each other in Endgame. Yeah.
No, but we did get the America's ass scene, which, all right. You could have had both or something. I don't know, whatever. They wrote it like that. They wrote it like that. So I blame the writers and the director. Yep. And so that's why I don't excuse bad writing, because you have to write that in order for it to get there.
One of the things I really liked about the early movies was Cap's relationship with Tony, obviously, but the fact that when Cap brings up, "Oh, I knew your dad," and Tony's like, "What? You don't think I knew that? You don't think he mentioned that like every 10 minutes, every day of my life that he knew Captain America?" And that
mm-hmm.
tension between Tony and Cap, because Tony's dad worked with Captain America.
Well, not just that, but also because of the whole thing with Bucky. Yeah, there's a lot of tension between those two characters for good reason. Yeah.
The shield, the fact that he made a shield, the fact that he made a suit, the fact that he did all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's Stark's dad, and that is one of the things I really loved about Endgame, was Tony getting to see his dad and spend a little time with his dad, even though his dad didn't know who he was, and finding out that Jarvis was the driver. Jarvis was his driver, and that's why he named Jarvis, obviously Jarvis, his AI.
Mm-hmm.
And gave him the accent he gave him, because his driver had that accent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we've gotten way off of Captain America. Shit.
Whatever. We made the MCU. America made the MCU. We're still on topic. So, yeah, that's my excuse for when we get off topic. What was it? I just forgot. I made a joke and I forgot. That joke was not worth me forgetting whatever point I was about to make. Okay. I'll come back. It's not coming back.
Nope. It's gone into the ether.
God damn it. Into Jane Foster. Oh, how dare she? Let's see. I mean, there's a lot of problems with Endgame. They did do a couple good things. They did. There's a couple good things, but
they chickened out on a lot of things. That's my personal opinion. They chickened out on a lot of cool things. Taking down half the heroes, it all felt hollow. when you watch Endgame, and if you try and watch Infinity War and Endgame back to back, Endgame now feels hollow. There's a lot of hollowness in Endgame and in Infinity War because it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
There was the consequences of losing the Thanos didn't stick. There was
nothing lost Black Widow. That's what you lost. You lost at the end of the day, they lost Black Widow.
Yep. And, like, Black Widow's cool, but we also lost Iron Man. Thank you for that.
If they did. And they don't bring him back.
Well, eventually they're going to want to make money again.
They can't do that with cheese, so they better.
No. The movie could have been good. They chose not to make it good. Annoying.
I had a conversation, and I'll just bring this up because we're in this mode of what they're going to do next. I had a conversation with someone recently because they wanted to do a lot in our community, in our YouTube community, and you can talk about what you want to do. You can talk about it all day long, but actually doing it is a totally different thing. They did not talk about all of this when they made Iron Man. They just made Iron Man, and then they made Captain America, and then they made Thor, and then they made the Avengers, and they'd done Hulk too, but nobody ever thinks about that movie. But they made these movies and then did something big. They didn't talk about it. They didn't come out and say, hey, guess what? We're going to make the Avengers, but first we're going to make these other movies. They didn't do that. They have done that now. Now that Disney is control, now that Disney's in charge, they are telling us we're going to come back with this whole list of movies and then do this big thing. That's the exact opposite of what they did in the beginning. In the beginning, they just did it. They didn't talk about it. They didn't brag about it. They didn't talk about how they were going to do this and that and the other. They just went and did it. They're not doing that now. And they're not going to do that now.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that. They'll milk him for all he's worth. That's his Jack Sparrow. That's his role forever. That's,
Well, now they got Margaret Robbie coming to play Jack's kid. So.
Not surprised he had one, but
there were rumors
no Pirates of the Caribbean. Sorry.
There's rumors flying around that he's going to be the next Joker in Ben Affleck's Batman movie. Johnny Depp is going to be the new Joker.
We're going to get a Mad Hatter Joker. Is that what we're going to get?
I don't know. I didn't like those movies either.
I thought they were interesting.
Okay.
That's it. I thought they were interesting. Very Tim Burton.
Yeah, very Tim Burton. I will agree with that. Very Tim Burton.
It had the usual suspects for the Tim Burton-ness.
And Hathaway in that as the White Queen was interesting, but
yeah. I just don't think those two characters, honestly, I think they got stuck. So this is what I think. I think there's certain characters who got really good, when they went off, everyone went off to do their own thing. There are certain characters, they clearly knew what they were doing with them. Tony and Cap, having to deal with that. Tony meeting his dad, all that. Thor, what he had to go through, very specifically designated to that character and what they had previously gone through. I'm not a fan of the whole that Thor thing, but the scene with Frigga made me tear up. I'm not even ashamed to talk about it. But see, they're very specific for that character. The Hawkeye and Black Widow scene at the Soul Stone with Red Skull, that felt tacked on as shit. They didn't know what to do with those characters. Probably because you hadn't given Black Widow an origin story yet. They didn't know what the hell they were gonna do. Pretty obviously, because it's so non-character specific to them. It's not like, you know, if they would have had it so that the person that was there, the little guardian person, was like specific per person. Everyone saw someone differently, you know, someone dear, you know, to them or something that had died. I don't know. Something more interesting like that, maybe. But like that whole segment feels tacked on. You know, it feels.
We should have gotten a Black Widow movie culminating in whatever the fuck happened in Budapest. Because they're always, oh, this is like Budapest, you know? They're always joking about, oh, this is just like Budapest. Oh, how's it like Budapest? Oh, this happened in Budapest. If we would have gotten that, and with Jeremy Renner and, oh my Lord.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
There you go.
If we would have gotten that, all of that would have carried more weight, and what happened at the end of Endgame between those two would have had a lot more weight to it. We didn't get a Hawkeye movie. We didn't get a Black Widow movie, and they were back burner. They were B level characters in the movies. Mm-hmm. They were side characters throughout all the movies, and to put them in a situation where one of them has sacrificed themselves, you're just like, eh.
But yeah, I know Hawkeye had a family, but you know, these two had always joked about it. It's like we got the aftermath of a best friendship and did not see any of the development of it happening. You know, it was like, oh, we got the emotional payoff, but we didn't get any of the lead up. And you're just like, oh, okay.
Yep. And Samantha Joe says Black Widow should have been done after Iron Man 2.
Disagree. Should have been done after Age of Ultron. Immediately after Age of Ultron. They introduced a little bit of her backstory in Age of Ultron because of Scarlet Witch and Scarlet Witch getting into her memory. You gave us a little appetizer, a little teaser. They should have done it immediately after that, while everyone's interest was piqued in the backstory of that character, which no one really cared about the backstory of her. I mean, yeah, Budapest, but whatever. But now we have a taste. And so that should have done right after Age of Ultron.
Well, they didn't do Captain Marvel like they were going to either. At the end of Age of Ultron, there is a cutscene with Captain Marvel when he says Avengers Assemble at the end of the movie. Obviously, she wasn't there. That didn't happen. You never saw her. They had a stand-in actress that was going to be CGI'd over. You didn't get that. You never got the backstory with Black Widow and Hawkeye. Mm-hmm. Characters that would have had much more weight in the end of this series, at the end of this, 10-year run, if they would have had some kind of movie together. And I don't think they'll get Rayner back. Rayner got me too, like a motherfucker. So I don't think they're going to get Rayner back to do shit.
No, he's done. He's gone. You know, they had a Hawkeye movie announced. I think it was a series, TV series. I don't remember which one it was.
I don't remember.
But they were like, you know.
And Chris Berger makes a really good point.
Yeah, this one.
The sacrifice of his family and to push Natasha on to be an even greater avenger in memory of Clint and the family he left behind. Yeah.
Yeah, they're supposed to be really close. There is and I'm still to this day a bit confused about the whole Hulk and Black Widow thing. Apparently they also got confused about it because they dropped that shit like nobody's business. That was like a 1.5 movie thing, and then nah, forget that. That was a bad idea. Because I thought it was supposed to be Hawkeye and Black Widow. Because there's actually I saw an article a long time ago where in I think not Winter Soldier, maybe I think it might have been Winter Soldier. She's wearing an arrow necklace.
Yeah.
You know, that's that. I thought that, okay, y'all must be really, really close if y'all are doing that, but then it's like, oh, never mind.
Oh, the Hawkeye movie became a Disney Plus series to push Kate Bishop as the new Hawkeye, of course.
They can do like their own little Young Avengers thing, but make that separate, kind of like how Young Justice is technically separate from the Justice League. Whatever, I don't know what the I don't know what their y'all's. I don't know what the MCU's in. I don't know what Marvel's version of that is. Young Justice is their kind of version of that. Black Widow being done after Iron Man would have given the characters more impact in Age of Ultron. See, I don't think people wanted it though. That's the thing, is you kind of need to have people want it. And I think there was they perfectly teased it in Age of Ultron. And then, see, this is why I say it should have happened after Age of Ultron, because it's like, for spoilers, it's like the River Song thing. Like, you watch River Song and Doctor Who, and you see her first kind of in the 10th Doctor, and she dies. And then you get to know her in the Matt Smith era, and then you go back and watch that episode, and it will make you cry every single time.
Yep.
Every single time. Because that's the format. And they had that similar setup in Black Widow. I've compared the two before. They had that setup similarly, where you pique the interest. You're just like, oh, okay, so there is more. You tease it, which is exactly what they did with River Song. They teased it, didn't give you a whole lot of information, but drew interest to that character. Because this is the first, this is just a character that, at least in River Song's case, that you'd never seen before. But in Black Widow's case, it's like no one, I know you really like it. I know you really like Black Widow, Sammy, but like, I'm telling you, as a casual fan back in the MCU, I didn't really care about her. And I'm not sure a whole lot of other people did. And so you have to get the normies, the casual people, to become hardcore fans. You got to draw the interest. You got to build that character up to be interesting enough, because as far as I was concerned, she's kind of a kick-ass girl with a pistol. Yeah, she was a cool fighter, but like she didn't have any powers, so it was just kind of like whatever. But after Age of Ultron, I was really interested in the character because his backstory was fascinating. This Russian like assassin league and shit. It was just like, oh, that's so cool. And now I'm gonna get it. Really? Like the interest was up. The interest was up at Age of Ultron.
Well, they could have done a Black Widow Hawkeye movie and then gone back after Age of Ultron and done an origin movie. That would have been fun.
Or something. I don't. You could have had a kind of a maybe, I don't know.
They flaked on
whatever.
Star.
Yeah,
she could have been there before Wonder Woman. They could have had her out there kicking ass. They did have her out there kicking ass. It just wasn't in her own movie. They could have had her out there kicking ass in her own movie before Wonder Woman. They had the opportunity and they blew it.
Mm-hmm. They did, and now they're going to give possibly whenever it decides to be released. It didn't release hell because they keep pushing it back. It was supposed to already have come out this year.
Yeah.
But we were already supposed to have had it. And I have no idea if I wanted to go see it. It's like, well, why do I care, guys?
Yeah.
Why should I care? Because I don't. Boo. Boo. Boo, MCU and Disney and Road. Yeah, that's generally the consensus. But now I don't enjoy Infinity War as much.
No, and that's what I was saying earlier. It's harder to watch it now and be like, because that there's no long lasting effects besides Tony and Natasha being gone. That's it.
Not even Gamora. Hey, this is why they did the time travel thing.
Well, they got to start over. They got to start that relationship between
which we didn't even get to see.
Quinn and her.
Yeah, like, no, they skipped a whole section. They skipped a whole act in that relationship. It was like, oh, they're kind of, sort of, maybe, and now it's like, oh, they're just a thing now. Okay. And, oh, now she's dead, and this is that, and now they have to start over, and it's just like, okay, that could have been interesting, but you had to make me care about that relationship. If I don't care about a relationship, then, you know, it would have been a lot more, there would have been a lot more, what am I thinking? What's the word? Not grief. Okay. He fell in love with the girl, and they had this relationship, and we saw it for the most part. We saw all of it, you know. We saw that whole thing from beginning to end, and then he has to start over and figure out run. So he's had all this emotional development with this person that he now has to start over. That's like, that's a tragedy right there. That is awful. That is like, hurts my heart just thinking about it. But they could have done it well, and they didn't do it well. So, because they're not releasing Guardians 3, which I think is supposed to happen before Infinity War, if I'm remembering correctly in the timeline. Which I don't know why you'd release it after.
Because they were going to, and they didn't because of what happened to Gunn.
Well, then you should just waited on the whole thing. I don't know.
Shoulda.
I don't know. They're just thinking, guys. So, oh my god, don't bring the CW into this. No, I don't want to talk about her either. Ugh. Good lord. Love the first one and hoping the new one would be good. I don't know if the new one's gonna be good. I like the gold armor. I like the gold armor with the wings, obviously. But I don't know. I'm really concerned about all these movies that keep getting pushed back, because when you don't release it, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but if you don't just do it, you nitpick at it. That's how I am whenever I'm doing editing or whatever. I will nitpick at the thing, and I keep coming back to it. I won't leave it alone. And so I will have to just, it is good enough because you'll overdo it. You'll over edit it, right? You'll overthink it. So if you just get it out, you know, sometimes that's better. I'm pushing this back. It's like, I don't doubt that they're probably going back over it, you know, because they have all this time, right? Yeah. They're probably going back over it and just like, let's change this, let's switch those scenes. They're just like picking and nitpicking and just messing with it. And it's like, you know, you're probably overthinking it. I'm worried about what it's going to end up being. So
I'm not worried about it anymore. I'm not going to see anymore. They made their choice. They're going to go with Brie. So I'm just not going to watch them anymore.
I was talking about Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
No, not Black Widow. Black Widow I'm probably not going to go see because I really just don't care. Yeah, I just don't. I thought I just don't care. I watch reviews on it. If people say it's a good movie, people I trust, you know, if they could win me back, because they're going to have to win me back, maybe, most likely I'll wait till it comes out on Blu-ray, DVD, and whatever, and even then I might not get it. I might wait till it's free.
Yeah.
I could just watch it on Netflix.
Yep.
Because I'm not like in any hurry to actually go watch it, so. What a mess. Oh. I don't know about that one, because I would love a horror. I'm a big horror fan. I would love a horror superhero movie. I think that's very untapped in the superhero genre, and I think it's different enough. Like, having a horror superhero movie kind of makes it different, if that makes sense, because superhero movies are getting oversaturated right now, and there's not enough horror versions. You know, that's why I was excited about New Mutants. I'm now terrified about what New Mutants is going to be, because it's in like post-production hell for like 2.5 years. So
if I hear Tobey Maguire is in that movie as Spider-Man, I will go see it. If I hear they bring Tobey Maguire back.
Yeah, it's a multiverse. It's a multiverse madness. And Sam Raimi did the
If they bring back Tobey Maguire, I will go see that.
I'm on the fence about that. I really am. I have no idea.
Because Spider-Man 2 was epic. Spider-Man 2 was the best Spider-Man movie they ever made.
Oh, speaking of Spider-Man 2, and this is a bit different from me, but from what I've heard, because I'm my age, unfortunately, I've only heard about this. I didn't get to experience this. But when Spider-Man 2 came out, it was very close to a certain thing that happened in September. And yes. It was kind of a hell yeah America movie, which actually fits in with our
No, it wasn't a hell yeah American movie.
Well, they did some things in it that was very.
Oh, him on the flag at the end of the movie. That's all I can think of is him at on the flag. He jumps up and he lands on the flag and he's like holding the flag, and yeah, but that's at the very end of the movie. They cut out the Twin Towers scene. Obviously, they had to do some re-edits because there was a helicopter at the beginning of the movie that was going to be caught in a web between the Twin Towers.
Oh, that would have been cool, but yeah, in bad taste.
Yeah. So obviously they cut that out, but it wasn't. No, it wasn't. You got Jameson being Jameson, but most of that movie was filmed. They just edited a very small portion of it. Most of that movie was filmed before September. So that day.
Yeah, I don't know if I can even talk about it. I don't want to give YouTube's algorithm a reason to go. Bye. Toodaloo. I didn't get to experience it when it came out. I had a whole different experience for that day in September. So it's burned into my brain, but I remember it very well. Anyway, but I had heard that they had done something or a lot. I don't know in it, and I haven't seen Spider-Man 2 enough to be able to definitively recall scenes. They have the classic one at the end where it's like it's on the flagpole. Yeah. See, I agree. See, thank you. But they want it for everyone, and horror movies, generally speaking, are not something that you're going to take your little children to. Now, I have been in horror movie theaters where these couples have brought their baby, and a movie isn't as terrifying when you have the baby crying in front of you. So if there's a baby crying in the theater and you are alone in the theater, that is different. So, anyway, I wanted to keep this pretty short today. I know usually I go 3 to 4 hours, but I wanted to keep this around 2 because it's a holiday.
Yep.
And
it is. We're gonna blow some shit up today, aren't we?
Yeah, actually, I have stuff to do. Just saying, like, I have recently invested in this thing called a life. It's a bit bizarre, but yeah, I'm gonna go do American shit. So yeah, I wanted to keep this kind of shorter than I usually do, and also, God damn it, I'm like doing my ending, my 5-minute ending because I don't know how to say goodbye properly. But hi, Mountains of Elysium.
Hello, Mountains of Elysium.
Oh yeah, you're UK, aren't you? I think. Not, yeah. But hello. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and just end it here. Oh wait, hold on. Brightburn. Kinda. Did you ever see Brightburn?
Oh yeah, badass movie. Absolutely loved it.
It's like evil Superman.
Oh yeah, and you want to see what Superman could do if he went evil, full on evil? That's the movie to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That creepy ass kid in that movie. Yeah.
Do any of you have a film that you watch every 4th of July?
Patriot.
I like to watch Independence Day on the 4th of July. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that today because my schedule is a bit insane today. But yeah, I generally speaking at least around the 4th of July, maybe tomorrow I'll watch it. I will watch Independence Day. It's generally what I end up watching. It's just kind of perfect. Let's see. Oh, hey. It's Kronos? How do you pronounce his name? Chiron. All right. Cool. We'll go with that. All right, guys. Wrapping up as per usual. Takes me forever because I don't know how to stop.
Once you get started, boy, it's hell trying to get stop.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Like I said, very well known for me at this point. I don't know how to say bye. But I hope everyone in America, and anyone who decides to celebrate, because why not? I hope you have a good, safe 4th of July. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything too stupid. And don't have too much fun. Or else you're going to be one of those videos that is posted on Twitter tomorrow that of people being stupid with fireworks. And you don't want that. So I hope y'all have, like I said, I hope y'all have a good one. Happy Treason Day to my English people who are watching. And just have a good weekend for everyone else. So, bye.
Bye, everybody. Happy 4th. Blow some shit up today.
Yes. Not too much. Not too much, though. Just like I said.